Hello and welcome to this week's midweek thought. I'm Emily and I'm one of the ordinands on placement here at St Matt's. Last week, Juliet shared about ordination, what it is, and her own personal ordination last week as priest. And it reminded me of a sermon that I had to do while I was on placement at Bristol Cathedral as part of my ordination training. I had the privilege of speaking at Evensong on the 29th of June, which is St Peter's Day. And often around that time, ordinations happen. So Gail, who was with us as an ordinand who left in May, she was ordained deacon that day, and Juliet was ordained priest the following Saturday. And these ordination services happen around Petertide because of Peter and his call by Jesus to be to look after the flock, to partake in Jesus' mission as the Good Shepherd, and to look after the church as Jesus went on to go into at God's right hand side in heaven. And it got me thinking, it's quite an easy passage to preach to with fellow church leaders, fellow ordinands or curates, but we're not all being asked by Jesus to look after the church, to be ordained as deacon or priest, to be licensed lay ministers like Helen. How are we called into what Juliet described as the royal priesthood? Well, Peter and Paul as well. We often celebrate Paul with Peter on the 29th of June. They were both used by God and called by him. And out of that, we have the church that we have now. Peter was sent to the Jewish church and Paul to the Gentiles. And without either of them, we wouldn't have most of the New Testament, we wouldn't have the church that we have today. And although they both got things pretty wrong, Peter denied Christ in the Easter story, and Paul, before his conversion, was executing Christians. They were both, despite their flaws and the way they had got things wrong, called by God and used to further his mission on earth. They were able, by God's grace, to use their gifts and their talents to the glory of God. Peter was a natural leader. We can see that in the Gospels. He is often the spokesperson for the disciples. He gives the most cracking sermon at Pentecost. And he boldly defended the Christian faith right up to his martyrdom and death. God also used Paul's wisdom and knowledge and his gift of teaching, not only to teach the Gentile church at that time, but also continues to teach us and help shape our understanding of the Christian faith today. But what about the rest of us? What about those of us who aren't called to be teachers of the faith? We've all been given gifts and talents by our Creator God, whether that is in leadership, the arts, language, generosity, hospitality. Sometimes there's a specific kind of feeling on our hearts to maybe tend his flock, to become missionaries like he did with Peter and Paul. Or maybe you have a heart for a specific nation, for justice, to see the oppressed set free, caring for the sick. There are ways that the way that we're created as people is used and can be used by God as we partner with him in the mission of the church. We have the Great Commission in Matthew. We're called to go and make disciples, to make God's name known, to make the good news of Jesus known to those around us. And so each one of us is called into this mission of being the royal priesthood, of being God's hands and feet on the earth, to use our gifts and our talents, to use the places that we are put in, to make his name known. Each of us are called to partner with Jesus in the mission of the church. If we love Jesus, despite the ways that we have let him down, he continues to work through us, using flawed human agents, calling us to follow him and make his name known, as Peter and Paul so faithfully did.